For Upper Michigan, David Pfaff, Carl Bonet. This is your Fox UP News in prime time.
Guilty on all charges. That was the verdict handed down in the trial of Richard Jakes. The 39-year-old Menominee man struck and killed 41-year-old Brett Ingram with his van and then put Ingram's body in the back of his vehicle. The incident happened in December of 2010. Jakes was found guilty on all counts: driving while intoxicated causing death, leaving the scene of a fatal accident, and removing the body without the permission of the coroner. Jake's attorney said she was displeased with the results of the case and wondered why the jury didn't see the evidence as she had presented it. She thinks consideration should have been given to Jakes because he confessed right away. A Wisconsin man is dead after a snowmobile crash in Gogebic County. Happened shortly after 7 last night on the Cisco chain of lakes in Watersmeet Township. 45-year-old Patrick Sheehan of Land O'Lakes was killed when the snowmobile he was driving hit a tree. It is believed speed and poor visibility are contributing factors. The crash remains under investigation as toxicology reports are pending. EMS first responders may be facing some serious changes when it comes to the way they do their jobs. And if they don't act fast, they could be seeing those changes as soon as next month. Fox UP News reporter Gabriella DeLuca sat in on a meeting with EMS volunteers, Representative Matt Hookey, and Senator Tom Casperson as they discussed the issue.
Can do more things than
they respond to thousands of calls a year, and when it comes to saving someone's life, first responders need every tool available to make that happen, especially in rural areas where it could take longer to get to the emergency. However, the Michigan Department of Community Health is planning to take valuable instruments away from EMT workers in an effort to have a uniform program throughout the state.
Many of the first responder organizations in Lower Michigan are affiliated with fire departments, and they have ambulances close by, and they work together. But in the Upper Peninsula, some of the first responder organizations are a half hour away from an ambulance, and those services need to have the skills and the training and the tools to deal with people who are suffering in their very critical times.
EMTs have been using the same tools for over 20 years, and if they're taken away, first responders are worried that they won't be able to save lives.
If these changes do take place, medical first responders won't be able to administer aspirin, and they also won't be able to use a glucometer, which is the first thing that they do to every emergency patient.
You get a call that somebody's unconscious and their family can't wake them. One of the first things you can do is get a glucose reading. If that glucose reading is high or extremely low, sometimes that tells you what's wrong, and then we can start our treatment plan right from there. The sooner we can do that, the better off for the patient.
First responders from Marquette and Baraga counties invited Representative Matt Hookey and Senator Tom Casperson to Bell Memorial Hospital to explain their concerns.
It's a major issue. EMS service and first responders here in our rural area in the Upper Peninsula is extremely important to us and our safety. I think it's overlooked, it's undervalued, and it's something that we got to make sure that we're giving these individuals the tools to make sure they're able to do their job properly, keeping us, the public, safe.
Representative Hookey and Senator Casperson plan to contact the State Department of Community Health to work out a solution. The Health Department did not have a representative at the meeting, and we were unable to reach them. Gabriella DeLuca, Fox UP News, Ishpeming.
Escanabas Power Plant could have a new buyer. Richmond, Virginia-based Recast Energy sent a letter earlier this week expressing their interest in the plant. Their plan would be to convert it to a wood biomass plant. Fuel Streamers Group of Texas was selected as the buyer for the plant, but backed out last month. According to Electric Superintendent Mike Fermansky, a consultant contacted previous parties who'd shown interest. The next Electrical Advisory Committee City Council joint meeting is on February 8th. Officials will look at the viability of moving forward with transferring the plant to Recast.
Energy laid some of their employees off. That was effective January 2nd, and that was mostly due to the plant hasn't been picked up by the MISO market much lately. There was some improvements made on the the local transmission system.
The power plant has been idled. The Wisconsin State Assembly will not be voting next week as previously promised on a bill designed to help open an iron mine in northern Wisconsin. Legislators say the delay is because amendments are still being drafted. If approved, the mine would be constructed across Iron County and Ashland County, Wisconsin. It would stretch 22 miles and provide an estimated 1,400 jobs. A Marquette nonprofit community development group says it's business as usual after its parent partner filed for bankruptcy earlier this week. The holding company of Shore Bank Corporation filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after an agreement was made with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Shore Bank helped create Northern Initiatives, which specializes in providing loans to small businesses through the UP, Northern Michigan, and Northeastern Wisconsin. Despite the filing, Northern Initiatives says its finances will not be affected. Northern Initiatives began planning for a future without Shore Bank months before the bank closed in 2010. A local businessman has been handpicked by the Obama administration, invited to the White House to provide insight on how to insource American jobs. David Olilla is the CEO of Backcountry Skis, an outdoor recreational tool that allows users to snowshoe up mountains and ski down them. He created his startup business and got the skis on store shelves in just 1 year with a $100,000 budget, exclusively using Michigan resources. More than 1,000 skis have been sold so far, and he's gained national attention for using local manufacturing, which he prefers over outsourcing.
You lose control of your ability to monitor quality, to control how long it takes a product to get from Asia on a boat to the United States.
Olilla says the Obama administration pledged to continue conversations with him and other business leaders on how policy changes can make business models like his possible for anyone.
Thank you, everybody.
You may remember the Packers-Giants playoff tickets that Steve Mariucci put up for auction to benefit the Beacon House. We have a winner tonight. Eric Griffin of Marquette had the highest bid of $1,050. They threw in an extra $50 for a total of $1,100 for the Beacon House. Tonight in our Daily Pulse question, we're talking about an internet video that purports to depict 4 U.S. Marines desecrating Taliban corpses in Afghanistan. The matter is being investigated by the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Those involved could face charges of desecration of a body. If court-martialed and convicted, they could face jail time. So tonight in our Daily Pulse question, we're asking, should the Marines who desecrated Taliban corpses in Afghanistan be sentenced to jail time? To share your thoughts with us, visit our website, uppermichigansource.com, and vote in the Daily Pulse. We'll have the results of tonight's question later in our newscast. Coming up tonight on Fox UP News, find out how President Obama plans to make the federal government operate more efficiently. And U.S. military officials say American vessels are being harassed by high-speed Iranian boats. Details next.
This is meteorologist Carl Bonak. The storm ended. For some, it wasn't much of a storm at all. Check out snowfall totals in this particular storm. And, well, there was only 1 inch at Gladstone, about 3 or so at Amasa. The heavier snows to the north. Chatham, 7.6 in western Alger County. And the big snows in the north central and in the western highlands. Twin Lakes, 16. Bessemer, a foot. 12.9 at the National Weather Service site near Negaunee. And you can see some very light snow showers still continuing around Marquette. Out to the west, the snows have ended around Ironwood, maybe a few flurries farther east. Officially today, the high 17, the low as of late afternoon 10. Put it all together, right about average. Your forecast for the weekend coming up.
Former presidential candidate John Edwards will be undergoing treatment for a potentially life-threatening condition. The federal judge who presided over Edwards' criminal trial for campaign finance violations says she has 2 letters from a cardiologist stating Edwards has a life-threatening condition that will require surgery in February. The exact nature of the condition was not revealed. Edwards was set to go on trial later this month. The judge postponed the proceedings until March 26 to allow Edwards time to recover. President Obama is calling it a big idea. In an effort to make the government more efficient, the president is asking Congress for the authority to consolidate federal agencies. Fox News correspondent Doug McKelway has the details.
President Obama seeking the power to shrink the government by merging federal agencies. The president says the move could save $3 billion over 10 years.
Today I'm calling on Congress to reinstate the authority that past presidents have had to streamline and reform the executive branch.
Under his plan, the president would start by consolidating 6 major economic departments into one. The White House says up to 2,000 jobs would be cut.
We live in a 21st century economy, but we've still got a government organized for the 20th century. Our economy has fundamentally changed, as has the world, but our government, our agencies have not.
The president's proposal comes just one day after he asked Congress for an increase of $1.2 trillion in the nation's debt limit. A spokesman for House Speaker John Boehner says, quote, American small businesses are more concerned about this administration's policies than from which building in Washington they originate. U.S. presidents held this type of reorganizational authority for about 50 years until it ran out during Reagan's presidency in 1984.
The trend lines in our global economy are moving in our direction towards innovation and openness and transparency. But we've got to take advantage of it. And you need a strong ally in an effective, lean government. That's what this authority can do.
If Congress approves his request, the president could propose any consolidation that saves money and reduces the size of government and be guaranteed an up or down vote in Congress within 90 days. In Washington, Doug McKelway, Fox News.
U.S. military officials say American vessels are being harassed by high-speed Iranian boats. Officials say on January 6th there were 2 close calls with Iranian boats. They happened in the Strait of Hormuz and Persian Gulf. This video shows 3 Iranian boats coming within 500 yards of a U.S. naval transport ship. The boats didn't respond to signals from the USS New Orleans. On the same day, the Coast Guard reports Iranian boats harassed another U.S. watercraft 75 miles east of Kuwait City. In that case, the Iranians appeared to be holding AK-47 rifles. Iran has threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, the only outlet from the Persian Gulf, as it faces increased scrutiny over its nuclear program. A penny saved is a penny earned, and no one knows that better than the Transportation Security Administration. The USA Today report says airline passengers willingly left a total of nearly $400,000 behind the TSA checkpoints in 2010. It came in the form of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. New York's JFK Airport collected the most coins, totaling almost $50,000. What happens to the unclaimed change? It finances TSA operations. Florida Representative Jeff Miller has proposed donating those funds to the USO to help operate their worldwide welcome centers for U.S. military personnel.
We have high pressure that's brought in cold Arctic air. The storm that brought the snow is now off to the east, heading for far eastern Canada. Behind this frontal system, already some mild air in place. Will that mild air sweep over us, and will our pattern flip again? We'll tell you what to expect through the weekend and beyond in a few minutes. Well, temperatures are cold, but not super cold in the interior. However, on the east end, Newberry has cleared, and it's 7 above zero. It's 11 at Iron Mountain, 8 at Iron River, some holes in the clouds there, 10 at Ironwood, 11 Houghton Hancock, 16 at Copper Harbor, as well as Menominee. Here's that high pressure ridge. It extends from western Ontario back down into the mid-Mississippi Valley. We still have a light northerly flow, the remnants of that big storm. It was windy this morning, but the winds have died down, and the winds are out of the south ahead of this weak low in the plains. Up to the north, temperatures well below zero. In fact, it's 18 below currently at Geraldton, north of Lake Superior, but 6 above at International Falls, and you can see the evidence of warmer air. Bismarck at 28. Pierre at 34. That's because of a little system, that little low that we pointed out, a bit of light snow falling in North Dakota, but it's heading to the southeast away from us. This is the system of concern now pulling in out of the Gulf of Alaska. That's the storm that will bring in somewhat warmer air as the weekend wears on. Right now, we've got a big trough supporting the storm in eastern Canada with the cold air, and by Monday, it looks like a west-southwest flow aloft. That means mild, probably the mildest day of the week. Low pressure will pass us. out to the west. Intensely cold air developing in Canada will be filtering in behind that low. Here's the way it looks on Saturday. That high still close by, light winds, maybe a flurry early in spots in the north, and partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Mild out to the west. Some of that milder air will start to work in our general direction on Sunday. We will warm up some, but no big heat waves. Again, this low will pass to our north, and then the cold air will start to work into the northern plains early in the week. Back with your forecast details next. Well, tomorrow at a glance, here's what we're looking for. Again, light winds will come in out of the south out west, and that means that temperatures may warm a bit. We'll say some spots along the Wisconsin line near 20 after being the coldest tonight, with a high of only 10 around the Sioux, teens over most of the Upper Peninsula. Your forecast tonight, some light snow showers in the north. Temperatures, well, they'll still be on the mild side, and then tomorrow highs will be basically in the teens, though a 20 could occur along the Wisconsin line. Your Fox 5-day forecast, look for highs in the 20s on Sunday. The warmest day of the week likely Monday around 30, and then we cool off again.
Carl, temperatures are all over the place in the next few days.
Right. It looks like it will warm up, and the cold that's coming in behind that system for Monday could be the coldest so far this season.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Carl.
All right.
British researchers warn compulsively checking your smartphone may really not be that smart. The story starts us off, and tonight's looking out for you. A new study finds an association between the use of web-enabled cell phones and a rise in stress levels. Investigators did stress tests on hundreds of participants. They found while most originally got the devices for work purposes, an increasing need to stay connected to their social network increased stress levels. Study authors say while it's good to stay in contact, everyone needs to take a break now and then. They urge further research to better define the link. Eating grapes may slow or even help prevent age-related macular degeneration. Researchers studied mice prone to developing retinal damage in old age. The mice were either fed a grape-enriched diet or a normal diet. Grapes proved to offer a lot of protection against the damage to the retina and helped prevent blindness in mice. Investigators say the protective effect of the grapes offered benefits at old age, even if the grapes were only consumed while the mice were young. Being bored at work might affect your physical and mental health. British researchers asked more than 100 office workers if they got bored at work and how they handled that boredom. A quarter of the respondents said they're chronically bored on the job and dealt with it by eating chocolate or drinking coffee. The bored employees also were more likely to drink alcohol at the end of the day. Boredom also affected how well the workers performed their jobs. Nearly 80% said they lost concentration, and more than half said it caused them to make mistakes. It's time for our Youpers on YouTube video. Tonight we get aboard with a snowmobiler doing some tricks. Let's take a look. You can see this snowmobiler is balancing on one ski, definitely showing off some skills. Another interesting thing about this video, the person who uploaded it says it was shot during their first time out this season. Remember, we want your videos. So if you have some on your camera or cell phone and would like to see them on our newscast, visit our website, uppermichigansource.com, and upload them to YouperTube. Or from your cell phone, address the message to share@youpertube.com. Today, our Fox UP Facebook fans wanted to know more about pet nutrition. What are some of the best and worst things to feed your dog? Veterinarians say the #1 problem they see every day is obesity. Some pet owners may think staying active is key, but feeding the right quality and quantity of food is more important. Dogs and cats thrive on high protein and high fat in their meals. Too much carbohydrates can lead to weight gain and illness, which is why you should avoid feeding them food from the dinner table.
I think there are a lot of human foods that are fine for dogs and cats. The thing where we go wrong is we cook it. Okay, dogs and cats are meant to eat raw things. A little snack from the table doesn't do a dog in, but overall, if we start to add too much table food, then we have a lot of calories going into the dog.
One way to check your pet for weight gain is the rib test. If you can't fill the ribs while petting, chances are your pet is overweight. Still to come tonight on Fox UP News, the results of our Daily Pulse question. Should the Marines that desecrated corpses in Afghanistan be sentenced to jail time? And in our postcard from the UP, some scenes of Marquette.
You get it all, an Upper Michigan sports source.
It's time for the results of our Daily Pulse question. Tonight we asked, should the Marines who desecrated Taliban corpses in Afghanistan be sentenced to jail time? Here's how you voted. 35% of you said yes, while 65% said no. Kimberly McKenna commented on our website, we are supposed to be the better people, but actions like this show that this country is in fact not the better, but simply the victor. Those actions should be punished. Donnie Paquette commented on our website, desecration of human remains, even those of an enemy, is against the ethos of this country and the Marine Corps. It is easy to judge them for their downfalls, but let's remember the trials and tribulations they went through to become Marines. Bust them down to the lower rank or issue discharges to them. Thanks to everyone who voted and commented tonight. Be sure to vote in our next Daily Pulse question. You can find the Daily Pulse on our website, uppermichigansource.com. Carl, it's a big weekend for the Packers. What is the forecast for Lambeau Field?
Well, I'm not going to predict a victory. I'm hoping for one. We'll say around 30 for a high, and no chance of any snow. They had some snow, and they were shoveling out today, so that shouldn't be a problem. And the winds will start to pick up a little bit, but I don't think the winds will be super strong either out of the south. So it'll be blowing from the, let's see, right across the field.
So they know what to pick during the coin toss.
Right, right.
All right. Thank you very much, Carl. In tonight's postcard from the UP, we leave you with some scenes of Marquette. Thank you so much for watching Fox UP News. Join us again Monday night at 10.